Hello from Event Tech Live. Once again, I'm Vanessa Lovett and Glisser, and I am joined for a pretty awesome session now by our founder, Mike Piddock, who is going to talk to us all about the launch of Glisser Elements. Mike, thanks for joining.
No problem. Good to meet you all and join us on this live session.
Yes, so Glisser Elements is a brand new addition to the Glisser portfolio, and it's a completely different way of using Glisser. Fundamentally, it's the same platform, but in a very different way. So, Mike, what the hell is Glisser Elements?
So, I think the best way to describe Glisser Elements is to use an analogy, and that is that most of the platforms that are available for virtual or hybrid events are effectively like technology companies selling you a fixed product. So it's like buying a toy, like a doll's house or a dinosaur. And that's great if that's exactly what you want, that doll's house or that dinosaur. What we found was that most of our clients, as soon as they had adopted the product, had ideas for how they could improve it, change it, customize it, brand it, recolor it. And as we tried to deliver on each of those ideas, they just grew and grew and grew. And we sort of realized we have to say, stop, we need to rethink this. And so what we're selling you now is a Lego set. So we've basically broken the product down into blocks or elements, as we've literally called it, that enable you to use each of the component parts of our platform in exactly the way that you want to. So you can build them up, and if you want to build a doll's house, you can build a doll's house. If you want to use the Lego to build a dinosaur, you can build a dinosaur. We're still going to offer you a dinosaur, a doll's house, all built from those parts ourselves, like buying a pre-assembled Lego kit. But if you want to change that, if you want to do it yourselves, if you want to customize, you now have the power to do that because of the component parts, and you can adopt those yourselves and use them however you want.
Cool. And I can definitely vouch for this desire to customize, because before I joined Glisser, when I was using these platforms, I would constantly be asking, can I do this? Can I do that? Can I change this? Can I make it purple instead of pink? And that's what you can now do with Glisser Elements. So it's pretty exciting. And as Mike said, still the core platform is still there, still available for those that want something off the shelf, ready to go. But what made you come up with this different product line?
It's interesting that it's very rare that you get sort of technology and customers both pointing at the same thing. So the technical team were telling me about this way of building products that allowed you to be a lot more modular, and it allowed you to scale, build things quicker, build new things, add new things in, because you'd thought in this modular way. At the same time, I was getting all of this feedback from customers saying, hey, can we change that font there? Or can I move that around on the screen? Or can we have this on our own URL? And as those two things came together, it became pretty obvious that the answer was the same thing, that we could actually deliver a better customer product that allowed a lot more flexibility, a lot more scalability, and at the same time it's exactly what our technical team wanted to do. And if you've got the technical guys on board, things happen very, very quickly. So we were able to bring those two things together, completely revamp the way we were thinking, and that's another important point. This is totally different to the way that anyone else is doing it. So we're at Event Tech Live today. There are probably 50 providers here. If I look at the screens on their booths, I can peer at them really closely, and I really can't tell the difference between most of them. There's been massive homogenization in this market, and everybody's trying to move you towards their platform and give you a range of small customization features. We're doing the complete opposite. This is unique. We are taking something and saying, you go design it how you want it, you build it how you want it. We'll give you all of these super scalable parts, super secure parts that you can utilize, but you can do what you want with it. We're not trying to drag you to our world. We're saying, here are all the tools, you go and build whatever you want to build. So kind of all of those three things came together, and it became almost blindingly obvious that this was the main strategy we had to go down this year. And I also think it's really coincided with companies also seeing that strategy as being logical. So if you are now looking at live virtual events or the virtual part of hybrid events as something that's an ongoing requirement for your business, not a sticky plaster, but an ongoing requirement, you want to build something that is truly integrated into your brand, into your product, into your own website with your security, and Elements is the answer there. So again, another thing, all of these things are just combined. It was like, I had that eureka moment. It was like, this is how we have to take this and do something totally different to the rest of the market.
Okay, there was a eureka moment. You heard it here. So it's all about customization, fundamentally. And there's a poll that we're going to push out now, actually. So if our lovely assistant who is running the Glisser platform could push out the poll, which is around customization. And are you using customized event platforms at the moment? Are you not? What's your familiarity with actually taking a platform and making it into something that is truly meaningful to you. So I am going to use my phone to see the results of this in a moment when they come through. Because there is so much request for this, and it's great to now actually be able to provide it. So on that provision front, before we come to the poll results, how do you actually use Glisser Elements?
Okay, so Glisser Elements is what's known as an SDK, so a software development kit, which allows your, let's say, front-end developers, so the people that build your websites, to take our component parts and programmatically integrate them into their own websites. So rather than your clients, your attendees coming to glisser.com or one of our competitors and experiencing the event there, they actually go to your own website, and that might be your native website, it might be a specific event website that your agency has set up for you, and they onboard there, they go through security there, and they're using, once they're in that environment, the different component parts are our Glisser elements. So they're effectively like plugins for your virtual events website. So you can do all of the design, all of the layout, you can run the agenda view, everything, but the core component parts, the plumbing that does all the heavy lifting, so it scales, it's super secure, it will take an enormous number of users, spiking for a live poll. All of that is provided by us, because that's the piece that you don't want to have to redo each time. But the bits you do want to customize, like the look and feel, the colors, the branding, the fonts, layouts, that's in your control as our client or an agency working for one of our clients.
Yeah, and in that piece you said there, you don't want to have to redevelop these things each time. It's taken 7 years to get Glisser's polling, for example, to the quality and the standard that it is. You can't do that overnight, so why not use something that's already had all of that development put into it?
Yeah, we've worked with a lot of customers to understand not just the component that they want, but all of the underlying features that they want to be able to change and customize. And can you open the poll? Can you close it? Does it have multiple choice answers? Can you answer more than once? Can you skip, like all of that complexity? It's not just the sake of, hey, we've got polling. It's that level of detail, and each of our component parts has that degree of thought that's been built up over 7 years of audience engagement, and we can then plug that into your site. So it provides as I said, the heavy lifting parts we can do, but the design, the concept, the piece that hits the audience in the face and gives them that first experience, you have practically unlimited control over that. It's not just, hey, you've got a 50 by 120 banner here that you can put your event branding in. You can go for your life. Whatever you want to do, you can do it, and we're just providing the parts that fit into that to do specific tasks.
So let's take a look and see what the poll results have been like for the how much people are using customized platforms at the moment. We'll have those shared to the online audience. And then we'll come to a couple more questions around the point of Glisser Elements.
It looks pretty split across the three.
Wrong screen. Sorry, wrong screen. You can tell it's a live event, can't you? So yeah, combination then of I've never done it, don't know where to start, and do it all the time. So that's quite interesting. We've basically got 2/3 brand new to this.
I think customization, like most of these platforms will tell you, hey, we can do customization, but it's to what degree? Because customization with technology, you've got to do it within some boundaries. You can't just say, well, you can change everything and have a free ride, because that's got to be programmed. And I think it's important that when someone says, yeah, we can do customization, you dive into that. What does that mean? Is it just putting a logo somewhere? Or is it looking at changing all of the words across the entire audience-facing platform, changing the language, moving things around? That's the level of detail that you need to get to. And often, the creative vision is to create something completely unique, and then the platform is a bit of a framework that stops it, and you can change a few boxes. That's why we're flipping this around and going, no, genuinely, if you've got a concept, our elements will allow you to deliver that.
And it's not about the Glisser brand at all. We are literally we're the ingredient that's going into actually making whatever you want your audience experience to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool. So who stands to benefit the most from this? What sorts of organisations?
Well, I think we always start with the audience. So the audience will always benefit if the experience is better, or if it's just different. So as I said, so many of these platforms are very similar. You've got Zoom fatigue. You can end up getting virtual events fatigue if it's like, oh, look, it's another screen. And so the creative people that exist within the events industry now have the opportunity to go to town in terms of that experience and do something unique each time, but with the reliability of the parts that underpin it. So first of all, audiences are going to benefit because they're going to have a better experience. I mentioned agencies there. I think they're the real winners here because agencies are so creative, and under COVID lockdown, we've kind of had this emergency move to virtual platforms where the limitations of those platforms have limited the creativity of the agencies. Now the agencies are coming back, we're running hybrid events, enormous budgets are being spent on the design and the staging and the physical event. At that point, you don't just want to plug in an off-the-shelf product that doesn't represent anything you're doing in the physical world. So the agencies now can look at this and go, well, actually, we can bring that virtual element in with what we're doing physically. So agencies are really going to benefit, and they're going to be able to add a load of value for their clients. We're working with venues. So venues, another one, as we move to hybrid, venues are going to have to roll out a hybrid option, which is very scalable. And often that can be quite simple. Many requirements aren't all of the bells and whistles. You might just want a video feed, simple Q&A, maybe a chat feed. That's the point with Elements. You don't have to take the lot. If you just want a chat feed, just take the chat feed. And so it gives simplicity to venues. Technology companies as well, supplementing what they're already doing with individual components. And then obviously the companies that we work with, these will be uniquely branded experiences. They will be much more in line with the brand guidelines that corporate marketers want to follow. They will be housed within their own websites, not on X.com and Y.com, but you will go to your own website, go to the events page, and be into that experience. And also just creative people are going to be able to have some great ideas. I've already had one prospective client that runs a shop for their customers, and they're talking about actually integrating their virtual events into their shop using Elements. So not only are you running the event, you're selling product at the same time. So you can imagine, sneaker companies doing exactly that, like launching products and then integrating it into the sales process. So I think anyone who's got a creative mindset is going to look at this and go, wow, now I've got the tools to actually do what I've always wanted to do, rather than be stuck into someone else's kind of vision.
It's like there was so much compromise last year, because there had to be. It was extraordinary times and extraordinary compromises were made, but this removes the need for that compromise. Finally, you can just get creative and achieve what you want to achieve.
Yeah, absolutely. And the first thing we did was tell our designers to go wild. Come up with what you want to be able to do, so that we can check that that's deliverable with our elements. And that's what we did, and thankfully it can. But they had some amazing concepts for like different ways you could run an agenda. You know, you don't have to just have a list of all the days and a list of all the rooms and a list of all the sessions and a list of all the speakers. Like, try something different, push the boundaries, and that's what I think is really exciting, because we're giving people the tools to go and do that, and that brings in a whole new audience. Also the developers within agencies, developers within clients who've been looking at all these platforms going, I want to do that, or I could do better than that, or I wish it could do that, but they haven't been able to because it's all being run by a third party. Suddenly they've got access to our tools. You can use our sandbox now. They can go and start playing with Glisser Elements right now, try it out, start building on it, and be creative. And I think that's really exciting, that there's potentially this whole community of people that are going to take what we've already done and be really clever with it.
So you've answered one of the questions, or actually the main unanswered question that's come in, which is, when is this available? Now.
Yes, so elements.glisser.com. The site only launched this morning, so I think the whole site's there. But you can actually go in, your developers can go in, get the code base, download the components. There's a forum there to start asking questions.
There's 3 templates on there as well, to just give you a bit of inspiration of what you could do with this.
Yeah, so it's kind of ready to go, and as I said, you can start looking at that stuff without any contract. You can just play with it, and then when you're ready to go, when you're interested, give us a call and we can set you up with a full Elements account.
Awesome. Also, hello to whoever has joined us from Toronto. It's great to see that little note there, hi from Toronto. We have 1 more minute, so if there are any more questions, please do send them in from our online viewers, because we will try and squish them in. And just in that last minute, Mike, what are your predictions for the event sector for the next 12 to 24 months?
So, in line with Elements, I think that companies are looking at virtual events, virtual meetings, the virtual component of hybrid events, and looking at it strategically now. It's not an elastoplast, it's not a problem solver, it's that actually this has worked in many situations. How do we embed this within our business? How is this normalized? How do we run this easily? How do we let many people within our team manage and run these sorts of things so that it can benefit our employees, benefit our clients, prospects? So that kind of integration into the core business is fundamental. And so these aren't things that we're going to run kind of, as I said, on a third-party platform. That's going to be normalized core, and businesses are going to just make this business as usual. So it's another shift. I think it's a big shift, but it makes this just fundamental to the way businesses communicate now. This is a normal channel, and businesses will get really good at it. What they've learned in the last couple of years under this stressful situation, they can take that learning and it's going to improve really quickly. This will just be part of what we're doing. And as we've always said, we will stop calling them virtual events.
Yeah.
We'll stop calling them hybrid events. There'll just be events and meetings, and they will just happen to have a virtual component.
Awesome. I think that is the perfect moment to conclude. Get the info now. elements.glisser.com. We are pretty excited about this. It is going to change the landscape when it comes to virtual and hybrid events, and ultimately just events. Mike, thank you so much.
Cheers.